200 Days of Retention, a Simplistic Experience. Hello everyone. Today I've decided to make a longer post, but not to discuss an intangible topics or elitist-sounding values. Rather, this is simply a way for me to reassess myself and share my experiences without using any vague terminology, or so I hope. For some context, I first found this sub around half a year ago and am currently on a 200-day streak. Throughout this period, I have changed my eating habits as well as my exercise habits. I have been lifting 4 to 5 days a week throughout this time period and have only been eating whole foods. I would also like to add that I am 19. Days 1 to 30, the simplest way to put it, is that these days are your foundation. Through this time period, I experienced the most difficulty, but it was a mental difficulty for the most part. After being a PMO addict, rewiring your consciousness to make your own decisions is the most difficult part of this journey. But, it is also the most rewarding feeling when you overcome yourself. It is different for everyone, but I found it easy to avoid physical impulses by just focusing my attention elsewhere, or envisioning the result of relapsing whenever the thought arose. Mostly the latter part of the previous sentence is what enabled my success. By combining daily exercise and healthy eating, I was able to circumvent my lower self from controlling me through impulse. The term lower self doesn't need to be ambiguous to anyone. All that I mean to convey is when the brain is not in balance, homeostasis if you will, then the imbalance, both hormonal and behavioral/habitual, will make it next to impossible for you to have full conscious control over your every action. The more you can see through yourself, the more you can control yourself. Gaining the ability to recognize the presence of your inherent impulsive behaviors is the first step that needs to be taken in order to gain control over your mind. For this reason, people will recommend meditation. I was practicing for at least 30 minutes a day for the first 90 days of my journey. It makes recovery more attainable. Days 31 to 120, unconventional from other posts that I've read, but I put this period of time in one section. Why is that, you might ask? Well, I'm here to write about myself since that's all I can actually discuss after all. Many people will talk about benefits here and there or will discuss how they've gained some profound understandings of SR. For me, this was just a period of daily effort. Efforts that would later accumulate and provide benefits. I can't lie though, I most definitely deluded myself into thinking that I had gained some extreme powers. All I can say is that this period was my brain adjusting to normality, which was to a certain extent quite pleasing. The focus that I had practiced during my foundation was allowing me to begin to control my actions, not to be mistaken for developing habitual behaviors as a response to prior behaviors. I attempted, and still attempt, to control myself in every moment. It was also during this time period that I began to recognize myself for who I was, and my past actions and behaviors for what they were. What happened happened, but only a fool makes the same mistake twice, so the best course of action is to learn from yourself during this time. Days 120 to 180, I don't know about anyone here, but life became fairly normal for me during this period. I was accustomed to my new self, embracing health, and focusing on my responsibilities. There were no profound new benefits, but rather just a version of myself that could control their actions. I think this is the point where many begin to describe their benefits. I believe you can deduce why that is. I still continued some old hobbies of playing games and reading novels. It's not as if you need to isolate yourself through mediation or become a monk to change yourself. All that is needed is patience and resolve, which I discovered in the beginning and built off of throughout. Day 180-200, present. I can 100% say that by this time I felt fully healed, for lack of a better term. The person that existed half a year ago didn't disappear but rather improved themselves over a period of time. It wasn't superpowers or profound understandings or having higher energies that made me accomplish such goals. It was taking a moment to recognize myself and understand that change was necessary, which I believe is otherwise known as self-respect. I can say that my overall energy levels have increased, but that isn't going to make me start doing things that I don't want to do. I think that doing things how you want to is the most important part. You are you and I am myself, so don't make yourself suffer when you don't need to, but also remember that letting go of past behaviors can put you in a position where you no longer suffer. I hope everyone else can find success as well, not just within the realm of SR but within themselves. This was not my post. Hope you enjoyed today's video.